And we are live. Hi, everyone who's tuning in. Happy Sunday. How was your week? As always, I always love to hear from you. What did you learn? How did you grow this week? When you challenges of your experience, how did you overcome them? If you're watching this right now, regardless of what time of the week, what time, which year, which month, whatever it is, I love to know your thoughts. Like, what ideas have you had this month, this year? Have you grown? What are the things that you realized about yourself in the last month, right? And even in this month, right? Like what new habits are you starting to incorporate to help you become a better, most to really help you reach your highest potential? I'm really curious about that. So if you're watching this, I'd love to hear from you. Okay. I'm speaking directly to you. So let me know down below, or even if you have any comment about or any question about something you'd want some kind of advice with, let me know down in the comments. We're here to learn, to grow with each other. So hopefully that gets to happen. Okay. So I'm actually live. I'm just gonna make sure that everything is okay on my page. I usually can't tell sometimes because it normally shows up weirdly on my channel. So I'm just confirming that everything is working perfectly before I actually start talking about this week's topic. But first of all, for anyone who's tuning in, maybe you might wonder who is this lady showing up in front of you right now? My name is Eva. I'm an intuitive energetic healer. I do work with two modalities. One which is based on working with Akashic Records, it's called Soul Element, and the second modality is based on working with your body, helping to rewire your nervous system. So that is called quantum flow. And I'm going to be sharing more on that and how you can actually start tapping into your highest potential, highest and best version of yourself with these two modalities because they've made such a significant difference for me in my life. And I love to give that gift to you as well. So make sure you tune in until the end of the video. I also have a mini kind of like announcement of a new product that I actually designed for anyone who might be curious, mostly working with Akashic Records. I designed a mini soul realignment reading just to help you have a bit of taste of what that is, in case maybe you're not able to commit yourself to a full reading, or maybe you're just wondering, like, is this reading actually for me? This will be a wonderful way for you to just have a taste of what it is. I'm going to be sharing more of that at the end of this video. Okay. So today I want to talk about the ego. I know I mentioned the ego mind so much in my posting, but that's because, like, I think a lot of us are struggling with it, where we've let ourselves be overrun by a mind, so much so that we're not actually able to make progress in any kind of habits or goals that we actually want to achieve, or any kind of intentions that we set up for ourselves, right? I want to ask you, if you're watching this, like, how are your New Year's resolutions going for you? Right? Remember those resolutions you started out like 31st December and you're like, next year, this next is gonna be my year. I'm really gonna show up in myself, like in my health, in my finances, my career. I'm gonna do this and this and this. I wanna know just how much progress you've actually made with that. Because what usually happens is that we set that up, every beginning of month, beginning of year, beginning of week, we always start with the best intention. Like, this week, I'm going to make sure I exercise 2 times this week or 3 times this week. This week, I'm not going to eat wheat. This year, I'm not going to do this. And then usually you're going to manage that the first day, then the second day, you're like, I'm too tired. I'm going to try tomorrow. And then you keep on doing more of that. And then before you know it, the week is over, the month is over, the year is almost over. I mean, we are in June 2024. So if you're still procrastinating on getting started on your resolution, take this as a sign that it's time to get started now. And I'm going to be sharing with you tips on how you can actually start training your mind, because this is a training you need to do, right? It's not something that comes naturally for us. It's a habit, it's a discipline, it's a skill set we call willpower that you need to develop so that you can really focus all your attention on the things that actually help you to progress in life. Not the things that distract you, not the things that self-sabotage you, not the things that don't actually serve any kind of purpose in your life. Because remember, anything good will always feel so difficult in the moment that you're doing it, but in the long run, you will actually get to enjoy the benefits of doing that. It's the same thing, like you say, when you start exercising, it never feels good first couple of days, right? Your muscles are sore, you feel exhausted when you're doing it, you're like out of breath when you're doing the first kind of exercises. And then the more and more you do that, and your body now starts feeling like, whoa, I love how I feel after I exercise. I feel more energized, I feel more healthy, I feel I have so much um energy to dedicate to so many activities, and like I feel healthy in my body. So you want to do more of the exercise. It never feels good in the moment when you're starting out. It never feels good, but in the long run, you're gonna enjoy those benefits. But the things that we know very well we're not supposed to be doing, it feels amazing in the moment. It feels so good when you're not exercising, right? Like you're just sitting around, scrolling on your phone, watching YouTube, and not doing anything constructive. I feel good. That is actually where your ego mind loves to thrive. That's its comfort zone. So anytime you do something to get it out of its comfort zone, always gonna be a process. It's always gonna fight you on that. Remember, you've been training your ego mind to distract you for such a long time. So it's happy when you're not exercising because there's no pain. Of course, watching the TV, scrolling on social media is easy. Watching the things that just keep your mind, art like a zombie, like hooked on those things. It feels so good in that moment. I don't have to pay so much attention to, oh, maybe the job I needed to apply. I don't have to use all that effort to go and lift the weights. I'm happy in my comfort zone. That is where your mind or your ego mind loves to thrive. So to get past that, that's gonna take a lot of work. Because remember, you've done it for a couple of years. Okay, so it's not like a one day you're like, are you resolving that I'm going to start exercising 5 days a week and then it's gonna happen easily. It's gonna fight you on that. It's really gonna fight you against that because it loves to be in its tiny little comfort zone. Because you know what happens with the ego, and here's the illusion it creates. Like it gives you the illusion that it's in charge, and it's really not the one that's in charge. The consciousness that's behind that, your spirit, your soul, whatever you resonate with, that's the one that's actually running the show. But your ego, because it knows that, oh my word, if I give this person the idea that there is something much more powerful behind running the show, then I'm going to die. And I don't want to die. So, no, I'm going to do anything I can to make myself survive. So that's why we're always stuck in this survival mode, right? We normally thrive in that survival mode, like we're addicted to the patterns of suffering, because that's all your ego knows. That's all it knows. Like, this is the only way I'm going to survive. So if you're not suffering, remember its role is to keep you safe, right? That's its major role, just to keep you safe, to keep you alive. So anything that it can do to keep you in that state gives it keeps on giving you purpose. So if it means that I'm going to keep you in the suffering, even when maybe you're doing something and you don't think you're suffering, in the long run, you will realize the consequences of that choice. Remember, if you're constantly just watching TV and not maybe doing what you're supposed to be doing in that moment, yes, it feels good, but that's your suffering mode because you're taking attention from the things that will actually help you progress in life. So even though you don't even know you're suffering or you're in survival mode, your ego will just put on a mask, put on this illusion of everything is okay. Don't look here. Everything is perfect. You're enjoying yourself, like you're having fun, scrolling the social media and getting distracted with the gossip and the stories, right? Don't look beyond that. Don't want to do more. You're comfortable here. That is where your ego mind loves to thrive. And you really have to have awareness of when that happens. Because it's gonna take you really tapping into your spirit, into your soul, and letting know the ego that you're not in charge anymore. I see behind this illusion. You're not in charge of me. I'm the one who's in charge of you. I ever watched this. There's a TV show I used to watch some time back about nannies, like nannies being called to come and like teach parents on how to handle unruly children. Those children who are just running amok, throwing tantrums, screaming their head off because they want that toy and nothing else will do. Whether you have money or not, that's not their problem. They just want that toy. And because they've screamed, because they're throwing tantrums, you have to listen to them. The thing that usually used to amaze me about this is the fact that at the end of it all, it's the parent who's supposed to be in charge, right? Because remember, I'm the one who has to go to work. I'm the one who has to get you the money to make sure that you have a roof over your head, that you have these toys that you're crying for, that you have these clothes, and all your needs are actually met. I'm the one who's paying for all of that. Without me, you will not be able to exist, right? Maybe you'll exist, but not probably in the same kind of comfort that you're used to. So you need me right now to show up in the best possible way for you to continue existing in that level of comfort that you enjoy. But the minute I'm under the illusion that you, the child, are in charge, that anything you say goes in the house, then I've given up my power, right? And the thing to do in this case is that step back and be like, hold up. Okay, so you're screaming at me, making my life miserable, making me hire people to come and train you on how to behave, and yet I'm the one who's in charge. I'm the one who has the power. This is the level you want to get at with the ego. Because at the end of the day, it's not the one that's in charge. You, the spirit that's running the show, that's the one that's in charge. But as long as you're constantly giving into the ego, it's always going to think it's in charge. The other knowledge I love to give you is, the same thing you do with your, like if you have a pet, right? Remember, animals are all about the survival instincts. So anywhere it's gonna prove like I'm the alpha, because remember, the alpha never gets attacked, the alpha never gets challenged. Okay, might get challenged, but once you've shown your muscle, shown your power, you're gonna scare everyone else from even thinking that it has the opportunity to challenge and take the power away. So when you get a pet, I'm gonna use a dog, right? In this case, you get a dog, right? And the dog wants to be the alpha in your house. So it's gonna scare, it's gonna bark, it's gonna bite you, it's gonna do whatever it is to make sure that you know your place, right? You know that I, the dog, I'm in charge. And yet the dog is in your house. It's eating the food that you're providing to it. It's sleeping in a comfortable place that you provided for, and yet it wants to be in charge. If you're literally letting that happen, it means that at the end of it all, you have to take responsibility for how you contributed into letting that happen. Because remember, if you stood your ground from the beginning and made sure that the dog knows it's safe, that no, 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 you're my companion, not the one who's running the show. Without me, you'll still be you'll be like a stray dog in the street, like you wouldn't be enjoying this comfort that you're enjoying right now. You need me. You actually need me more than I need you. Okay? And make sure that it knows that. But as long as you're constantly just giving into the illusion that it barks and you run, like, okay, what do you want? You want food? Let me give you food. Then it's gonna sit back and think like, hold up. So I'm in charge every time I bark, every time I threaten I'm gonna bite you, you're gonna run. Then guess what? That's its comfort zone. That's where it's gonna thrive. Because remember, the ego does not want you to remember your power because the minute you do that, it dies. It doesn't want to die. So again, bringing back to the knowledge of the dog, the dog is gonna be scared that, oh my Lord, if I don't keep scaring this person, I'm never gonna get food. And my whole instinct is I have to survive no matter what. So I'm gonna keep on barking and scaring you enough that you keep on giving me food when I want you to give me food. But here's what happens, right? And sometimes the dog then ends up doing things that it's not supposed to be doing, sometimes even things that are a danger to itself. Same thing with the child, right? Because it's so used to being told yes, yes, yes all the time, and no one to make sure it stays in a contained box, not to take away all its power, but actually showing like you need to stay here so that you stay safe. What's going to happen? It's probably going to end up doing things that might actually endanger itself. And this is the danger that you actually risk running into the more you let the ego mind be in charge. So, the child could decide, you know what, today I want to learn how to fly. You, as a parent, know that's dangerous. You can break your bones, you can break your neck, you will die if you decide to, climb on top of the chair and just jump and all of that. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong. And me, as a parent, I know better. I've seen it happen. So my job is to tell you, no, stop jumping on the chair, right? But because the kid knows I'm the one in charge and what I say goes, it's just gonna go and jump. And then the next thing, let's not go there, right? Like so many bad things can happen because you, as a parent, you as a spirit know better, know what to do and what not to do. But because you've let your power go, that's the risk you're running. Like you're running the more you continue giving into your ego mind. So in this case, let's go back to the food analogy, right? So you're constantly just eating probably maybe whatever you like, right? Not exercising, not taking care of your health, because that's your comfort zone, right? Anytime the ego is like, oh, I'm craving burgers today, let me go get burgers. Oh, I'm craving pizza, let me go get pizza. Even though you know like eating too much of it, it's gonna have bad effects on your health. And you continue doing that. You continue, you never tell your ego, no, we've eaten too much pizza right now. What happens then when you get a heart attack and you're completely in a bed rest and no way to actually get the pizza and the ego that you're and the cakes or whatever that you're constantly feeding yourself? What happens then? What happens to your ego? Now you're both stuck in a place that none of you wanted to be in. But you, as a person who was in charge, you know better. And you got to start tapping into that essence to really remind yourself, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Stop listening to the ego because it will always lead you to places and paths that you do not want to go to. Okay. So remember, it's your spirit that's in charge, and you're going to keep on tapping into that power of your spirit to help you run the show. Okay. So, of course, anytime that you try to do something that goes against your ego, you're going to face two kind of challenges, right? Okay, so first of all, again, your ego is like, I gotta survive no matter what. So it's gonna do whatever it takes to get you back to its comfort zone. That little comfort is it's been enjoyed, it's gonna do anything to bring you back. Okay. So remember when you now start fighting back and say, no, we're not gonna eat that chocolate cake. No, we're not gonna eat that pizza. What's gonna happen? It's gonna fight back. Not just gonna take it lying down like, oh, okay, fine. You don't wanna eat pizza? Okay, fine. We're not gonna eat pizza. Remember, it's been enjoying pizza for all these years. So you can't just wake up and tell me, like, okay, now no more pizza. Remember your kid, you've been every time he cries, he throws the tantrums, he wants that toy, and you've been giving that. So you trained it, you trained your kid that every time I cry, I'm gonna get that toy. And then now all of a sudden now you're saying no. But I really want that toy. Your child is gonna fight you back on that, okay? So it's not gonna take it lying down like, oh, now, okay, master or whatever who's in charge has said that we're not going to be eating pizza, we're not going to get that toy, and I have to listen. It will fight you on that. And how is it gonna do that? So one thing is that it's gonna bite you back, okay? It's gonna make that new thing that you wanna tap into so uncomfortable to the point that you just give up and you're like, you know what? I'm just, it's easier to just give in to you than continue fighting. Okay. So, you know, like how a kid like now really throws a tantrum, like framing their head off and embarrassing you in public because you just happen to say no and making everyone look at you and being all judgmental. The easiest thing to do in that point, just to stop the noise, to stop the tantrum and the screaming will be like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to buy you better. I'm just going to buy you better and just to shut you up and so that you stop embarrassing me. This is what happens with the ego. It's gonna make it so uncomfortable for you to continue doing that thing that you know very well you're supposed to be doing. So you're gonna start, okay, the first day, the pizza, I'm not gonna eat pizza today. Okay, fine. The first day was really uncomfortable. Like that's all you're gonna be obsessing with. You will go everywhere. The only thing you're seeing is pizza, 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 pizza. Like it's gonna make it so uncomfortable for you to resist that. Another example would be like maybe if you just started exercising, maybe I want to keep fit, right? So I'm gonna go and lift weights. So how is the ego gonna fight that? It's gonna make your muscles really sore. It's gonna distract you with whatever way possible, right? It's gonna make your muscles really sore so that tomorrow, before you wake up and think to go lift those weights again, that's going to be a challenge. Okay. The thing is that it could mean that if it will distract you with, making you busy doing other things and keeping you distracted as much as possible from doing what you're supposed to be doing. So now all of a sudden, oh, today I woke up so feeling so tired, feeling so all these things. So I'm just not gonna exercise today, Today I woke up and I'm just, I've had the most exhausting day at work. Let me just eat a slice of pizza because that's the easiest thing that's available to me right now. I don't feel like going through the hassle of cooking. It's gonna do that just to kind of like test your resolve. And what do most people do in this case? Are like, one day is not gonna make a difference. One day is not. Like, I'm just gonna give in. Just one day. It's not gonna make a difference. Okay. So you're gonna sleep in. You're not gonna exercise today. And then you'll be like, you know what, tomorrow for sure, I'm going to show up. And then you show up tomorrow, same story. I'm too tired to work out. Like, oh, come on. Like, today is just my relaxed day. I'll deal with it tomorrow. And then you keep doing that over and over again. Remember, this is the same thing you go through when you're doing your resolutions, right? You start the first day, you feel so energized. Second day, oh, my muscles are so like that. And you keep on giving excuses and excuses and excuses to the point that it's 1 month down the line, you've never done anything. 6 months down the line, you even forgot what those resolutions were. Remember? So your ego is going to do whatever it takes to drag you back to its comfort zone. So it's going to distract you, give you a million and one reasons for you not to be doing that part. So if you don't constantly train it that, no, I've resolved I'm going to exercise, guess what? You're going to keep on feeding it and keep on feeding those same old patterns that you've been doing for years and years. So your power to say no has to be stronger than whatever is coming from your ego. That means that, yes, you might have to endure the child throwing the tantrum out in public and that embarrassment of people looking at you and being all judgmental. Why aren't you controlling your kid, right? It might mean that, oh man, I'm going to have to power through the muscles hurting just for today. By tomorrow, my body will have adjusted and I'll be enjoying these exercises. It might mean you doing that. But the more and more you do more of that, guess what? Guess now you're feeding this new pattern. And you know what's happening now in your mind? Now you're trying like you're getting your mind to form now new neural pathways of this is the habit we want to be tapping into. Okay. So the more and more, it's kind of like a muscle that you're building, right? Remember, you don't build a muscle just by working out one day. It's something you have to constantly do. And the more and more you do it, the more and more you're making that muscle stronger. So, and this is what I'm saying, it's not a one day and everything is fixed. It's something you have to put your energy, your focus, your time, all of that. Remember, it took a lot of effort for you to build this bad habit. That's not going to be destroyed in a day. So the same kind of effort, if not more, you're going to have to apply into doing things that go or negate that bad habit. But it's something you have to consistently do. I mentioned this on a previous live that sometimes if it's a skill or a new habit that we want to develop, approach it the same way you approach acquiring any kind of skill, right? So don't assume that just because I woke up today and I have to figure out like I have to start exercising every day and this is how it's gonna be. No, approach it like any skill. Like you didn't wake up and now, you didn't know how to operate a computer from birth. That's something you had to learn over time, how to type, how to go through the various apps. That's something you had to learn over time. And of course, there are days you wake up and you completely forget, like, oh my God, how did I even get this app? How was I operating this app, right? Like sometimes you're gonna forget, sometimes you're gonna fail. That's how you approach getting a new skill. So when you're training these muscles, you're gonna come across those learning curves. There are days you're gonna wake up and be like, oh no, I gave up, like I didn't do what I promised myself I was gonna do. But remember, this again is the trick of your mind, right? Your ego mind to get you, drag you back. So if it's gonna use shame and guilt to get you not to do what you're supposed to do, it's gonna do that. It's gonna make you feel so guilty and so shameful to the point that you know what? I never wanna feel the shame and guilt because I didn't exercise. So it's easier for me not to exercise. Don't give in to that. Yes, you're gonna fail. Fine, today you woke up, you didn't feel like exercising, but tomorrow, by all means, make sure you wake up and you keep doing that over and over again. Fail, but get up and do whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. So it doesn't matter how many times you stop and start, stop and start. The fact that make sure that you're still making progress, right? And the more and more you make progress, the more and more you're making this muscle, your willpower stronger. Okay. The best way to do this is really to befriend your ego. Okay. So when I'm talking about you training your ego not to do this, it's not to like drag you back to your comfort zone. I'm not saying that you have to fight it all the way. You don't. Remember, anything that you resist will continue persisting, right? So the more and more now you make your ego the enemy, you'll still be feeling those old patterns. So the best way to do that is kind of like negotiate with it. That, okay, you know what, ego? If we are able to get through 3 days this week of exercising, I'm gonna give you all the pizza you want on the fourth day. That sounds like a good kind of thing to look forward to, right? So you're gonna make sure the ego is like, okay, so you mean we just need to suffer for like 30 minutes um for 3 days this week, and then you're gonna give us all the pizza? Then guess what? It is gonna show up for you in the best way possible. Okay. So with the kid, it will be like, you know what? If you promise that you're not going to throw any kind of tantrum this week, and you're going to do everything that I ask you to do without any kind of struggle, I'm going to get you that toy. So I'm not going to say yes to you now because you threw that tantrum. I'm not going to get you that toy right now. But for the next 2 weeks, if you promise to be a very good person, no more tantrums, I'm going to get you that toy. Guess what? The child is going to be on their best behavior because it has that 2 weeks to look forward to. Remember, so you're training your ego to be like, okay, so I don't have to have it right now. I can survive for the next 2 weeks doing this. It's gonna now start working hand in hand with you. And the more and more you do that, the more and more now you're making your ego now adopt that habit that this is our normal way of operating. So now it will stop being a struggle. Remember that now once you build the muscle, it's gonna get to a point where you're not always gonna have to put in so much effort to make it strong. It will just be your normal way of operating, and that's where you want to get to. I was watching a video, a reel the other day about a guard dog, right? So people will actually just put a camera outside, and someone broke into their home, and the guard dog, the dog that's supposed to be guarding, is just standing there, not even standing, just lying down, watches the thief get into the compound, go and rob them, and get out. And the dog never even moved anything, a muscle, didn't bark, just looked as the person went in, stole whatever they were stealing, and got out. And that's supposed to be your guard dog. So remember, you also don't want to get to a level where you made your ego so docile that it doesn't even have the strength to do what it's supposed to be doing. Okay? So we still want it to be protecting you when in case of danger, you don't want like now when there's a fire maybe happening in your house or in your building, and then your ego is like, I'm just calm and like everything is easy, no danger here because you've trained it or you've beat that resolve out of it. So remember, we still want the ego to do its job. So you still want it to alert you when there is danger because that's its job, that's its role. Okay. So whenever there's danger, by all means, do whatever you're supposed to be doing. But you gotta work hand in hand with that so that it still knows that its place is protect me in case of danger. A beautiful analogy I'd give you, like even with a dog, right? Maybe you've gotten a dog as a companion, right? But the dog still has the ability to fight against any kind of person trying to attack you, any kind of intruder. So, yes, by all means, let it be your companion. Take walks with it, have fun with it, give it a hug, because you enjoy doing those kind of activities with it. But by all means, if you see me in danger, I want you to make sure you protect me. Okay. So yes, make sure it has that comfort, that place that it knows that it will always be loved and always be taken care of. But if there's danger, please make sure you protect me by all means. But that does not mean that you're going to go backing or trying to bite every person, every good thing that comes towards me. Because you can also go both ways. You can make it so tough to the point that it's chasing away any good thing from happening in your life. So you can get the dog to the level that even when the milkman comes, even when the delivery man comes with the things that you need, to continue surviving, The dog is busy chasing it away, making your life even more difficult. So it has to be a beautiful balance of protect me when there's real danger, but also know that or listen to my command when I tell you that I'm not in danger right now. So you can relax and continue being my companion. That's where you want to get to with your ego. The other way the ego can distract you is that it's gonna make it seem, you know, like how you're training your child. Like I was giving you that analogy of like make sure your child knows like I'm only gonna get you this toy in the next 2 weeks if you just act like a good person. So what will the child do in this case? I really want that toy. So the only thing you want me to do is just pretend that I'm a good person for the next 2 weeks and then you're gonna bring me that toy. Remember, the ego can do that. It's gonna play ball with you because it's gonna realize that, oh, the fighting and the backing is not working anymore. So I'm gonna pretend to go along with you with this delicious scenario that you wanna play out. So the child will be the best person that you've ever even imagined. You will even think like that person who was throwing tantrums does not exist anymore. Gonna play along with you for the next 2 weeks, and then once it gets the toy, boom, back to normal. Remember, all this is just a bruise to drag you back to where its comfort zone is. And your ego will play that trick on you. It's gonna play along with you very nicely, entertain you. The way the ego will do this is that it will entertain you or make your comfort zone seem so seductive. Okay? And you won't even see it coming because you're like, oh, so you've been allowing me to exercise for the next couple of days. So we must be working hand in hand, okay? And before you know it, it just bites you back in the ass, like, oh, because you've been working so well for the past 2 weeks, now you can sit down and enjoy like a piece of cake. It's just for today. And that piece of cake is gonna taste so amazing. Then you're gonna like, go like, you know what? I don't have to stay 2 weeks without this piece of cake. Tomorrow, I'm gonna, okay, fine, I'm still gonna exercise, but I'm still gonna have like a bigger piece of cake. So remember, it's gonna make that so seductive. And before you know it, you're back to where you originally were. And again, you don't want that. So remember, when you're feeding these new patterns, it's really having the awareness that that is who I want to become. That person who's constantly showing up for themselves to do what I'm supposed to be doing so that I can get to a better version of myself, a higher state of living. And that will take serious commitment on your part. So you cannot be constantly giving in. Yes, fail once in a while. Yes, give in. Just, like, okay, I'm going to feed you the cake because that's what you want right now, but not all the time. So make sure that also you're doing it in from a place of balance so that you're not constantly allowing yourself to get dragged back into that place that you don't want to be. Okay. So I'm going to share some of the tricks that you can start doing this. Like if maybe you're still stuck on how on earth do I even get started right now? I'm going to share one of the tricks that one of my teachers shared during their course. She's called Sonia Chakat, and we were talking, it was about how to train your intuition. So she called the ego mind your backing dog. So when I say backing dog, she had us imagine like a chihuahua. You know that tiny little dog that makes you think like it has all the power because it backs and backs and backs. And then when you see it, it's like it's a tiny little thing. That's basically your ego mind, just giving you the illusion that I am so powerful because you know. But then when you look at it, you just find it's like the tiniest dog that you can carry literally on one arm. It's not even that big. That's how I want you to look at your ego mind. And if possible, I want you to name it. So that's the process she took us through. Like name that part of you so that you're aware that that's your barking dog and the real you is the consciousness that's behind that's running the show. So you can have, and if possible, name both. Name your spirit and name your ego mind so that you're aware these are two separate entities running behind you. So anytime your barking dog wants to think it's in charge, you sit down and you have a talking to. The same way you talk to your child, right? And tell like, yo, no, we are not doing this. Like you have to address the child with a name, right? So make it name it, give it a name. So then now you actually have two distinct entities that you're addressing within you, right? So you give your ego a name. I'll give it my name, right? Like right now, Eva, or whatever comes up to you, right? So you say, Eva, today we're going to exercise. Speak out loud to it. That's a beautiful way. Remember, like you can't make a child to stop doing something by just being silent and then hoping that the child is gonna figure it out for themselves that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You can't do that. You can't stay silent. Same thing with the dog. If it means like you're gonna bark your orders like, hey, stop whatever you're doing right now, because maybe sometimes that's the only way the dog is gonna listen, then do that. And this is what I want you to do with your barking dog, your little barking chihuahua in the back of your mind. So anytime it's trying to drag you away from what you know you're supposed to be doing, you say, hey Eva, I see you. We're not doing that today. Today, we said we're going to exercise for the next 10 minutes. That is what we're going to be doing. Speak out loud to it so that it knows you see through it and you see through what it's trying to do, and you're not going to entertain that. That's a beautiful way to get started with this. Practice more of that. It might not always work, especially the first couple of days or something. Remember, your child is going to be like, when you start like backing your orders at your child who's been throwing tantrums, gonna be like, what are you doing? I don't know what that is. You've not been doing that my entire life. So what is that? So of course it's gonna be like, I'm not gonna listen the first couple of times, but you remember you have to have stronger resolve. So you keep doing that until the child knows that you mean business. So you keep doing that until your ego mind knows that I mean business. So when I say I'm not going to eat that piece of cake, I mean I'm not going to eat that piece of cake. So talk out loud to your ego mind, okay? The next thing you can do, which is something that I'm tapping into right now, which is something that I got from Nir Ayal, and I know I've mentioned him on my channel. Yes, I hope that's the name. Let me just confirm that name so that I don't guide you to someone. Yeah, Nir Ayal, who's the author of Indestructible, right? Brilliant book. He talks about anytime you find yourself just about to tap into something you know very well you're not supposed to be doing, a beautiful way you can use to address that is that set a timer up. He recommended 10 minutes. If 10 minutes seems too much for you, although I would recommend the 10 minutes, because if in 10 minutes you still feel like doing that, then that's a whole matter. So 10 minutes will be a brilliant way for you to get started. So set a timer for 10 minutes. And what I want you to do is just allow yourself to just sit with that uncomfortable emotion or thought process that's going on within you. Because that's what we normally do. Remember, your ego is going to want to make you so uncomfortable that it drags you back to the comfort zone. Sit with it. Sit with that feeling. So basically, it's just a chemical reaction it's creating within you, making you feel that uncomfortable. It's going to make you anxious. It's going to make you sad. It's going to make you, whatever it is, any kind of that negative thought process, negative emotion, it's gonna make you so uncomfortable to the point that you're like, I give up. I'm not gonna exercise today. Oh, I give up. Let me just go eat a piece of cake. No, sit with that for 10 minutes. Set a timer. And within that 10 minutes, don't do anything. Just sit with it and allow that to process through you. Remember, and I keep dragging you back to the child throwing the tantrum out in the public, if you just sat there and looked at the child throwing its tantrum, screaming its head loud, and allowed yourself to just feel those uncomfortable stares, those judgmental stares, yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable in that moment, right? It's going to feel weird, like, oh my God, people are looking at me. But just sit with it. Guess what the child is going to do? Oh, my mother is not reacting. My father is not reacting. Okay, let me scream louder. But you're just sitting there, just looking at the child. There's going to get to a point where the child is going to be like, oh, I'm exhausted. Okay, I'm done. Clearly, I'm not going to get this toy this way. Like that will eventually happen. The minute you're not feeding or giving into those tantrums. So this is what I want you to picture your ego trying to do. So it's going to be throwing the tantrums, right? Like I want you back to your comfort zone. Just sit with it and just look at it. Observe that emotion, observe that thought process. A beautiful thing you can be doing in this time, just breathing deeply. Okay, and when I'm talking about breathing deeply, not shallow breathing through your chest, but letting your breath get all the way down to your belly. So inhaling and letting your belly be fully expanded when you inhale, and then when you exhale, just let yourself relax. For just 10 minutes, just doing that kind of deep breathing. Another way is that doing box breathing during this time. So box breathing is where your inhalations and exhalations last the same amount of time. So you're inhaling to the count of four and exhaling to the count of four. For those 10 minutes, do that. And then tell me how you're going to be feeling after the 10 minutes. If you're still going to be having that urge of going to eat that piece of cake, because chances are it won't be there. And the minute it's not there, I'm not saying that after the 10 minutes now you go and eat that cake, because again, you'll be giving into the patterns, dragging you back to the child analogy. After the child has thrown the tantrum, it's not for you when they're done for you to go now buy the toy. No, you have to make it clear to the child that that kind of behavior is unacceptable. So once the tantrum is over, you walk out of the store. No toy for you because you pulled that tantrum. And this is what I want you to do with your ego. So no giving into that cake just because now you don't have that urge. It's now going and doing what you're supposed to be doing and building that willpower muscle that you've been working on. So breathing deeply for 10 minutes and letting that feeling, that immediate feeling of, oh my God, if I don't eat this cake, I'm gonna die. Let it process through you, and then afterwards go do whatever you were supposed to be doing in the first place. Don't give in to that tantrum. Don't give in to that illusion. Because the more and more you continue doing that and thinking that, oh, let me just feed it the cake for just one day, still going to be empowering the ego to continue distracting you in the future. And we want to starve it so much that it gets to a point where it knows its place, that you're my companion and you're my assistant, nothing more. Okay? And my protector when I need you to be my protector, nothing else. That's where you want to go with your ego. Okay? So those are two techniques I've given you, and I hope any kind of analogy I've shared today has actually helped you to really now start building that friendship with your ego. So that I don't want you to again fight with your ego and make it your enemy. It is not, it's part of you. It still serves a role, but make sure it's serving the right kind of role and not distracting you from what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? So I'd love to hear from you if you've actually enjoyed this live and the kind of thought processes I've shared. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite one was. Or maybe you have more questions on this. You can ask your questions and I'll do my best to get back to you, whatever point you're actually watching this. And share your habits, like how you normally use, what kind of um, activities you do to get past that initial difficult process of trying on a new habit. How do you normally overcome that? I'd love to hear from you for that. If you're new to my channel, maybe you have never hit subscribe, please make sure that you subscribe and support the channel so that I actually know that I'm talking to someone out here and inspiring you to be different. So do subscribe to my channel, click on the notification bell so that you might be getting alerts of every time I go live. My purpose is just to share the wisdom and the insights that I've gathered from my journey. So if you do like the kind of content I share, please do support me in that way. Okay. And to say thank you so much for supporting me. I have a beautiful quantum flow meditation that I've designed just for you to help you with really rewiring or handling that stress response system. Remember, the minute you can actually hack your internal stress response, it's the easier it is for you to I want to say like walk away from those habits that are no longer serving you, right? So anytime you feel that kind of uncomfort, the anxiety, the stress that comes with trying on a new habit, this meditation will be a beautiful way to assist you through that because it's designed for that. And what the meditation does is that it helps you target your nervous system, really get into back into your natural state of operation, what you're actually supposed to be beyond these distractions and the self-sabotage you've been doing for years. If you're curious about that, it's a free meditation. It's just share your email down below and you'll get it access to it directly into your inbox. If you're curious, make sure you check out in the description box the link to that. Okay. And I did share at the beginning of this video that I do work with two modalities, one which is based on the working with the Akashic records, which is called Soul Element. So I do have a special offer right now for a mini Soul Element reading. If you've ever been curious about working with the Akashic records, maybe you're not so sure. Is it the right fit for you? Maybe you want to have just a bit of a taste before you can actually make a full commitment into getting this full reading for yourself. This will be a brilliant way to start. What you'll actually get to the mini soul element reading is you will get to actually know who you are. You'll get to discover your hidden talents, your hidden soul level gifts that you might not even know that you have within you right now because you've allowed the world to beat out that unique part of you away from you, right? You've allowed the world to distract you, you've allowed the world to make you exist in an inauthentic kind of state because someone somewhere convinced you that that was the only path to having any kind of fulfillment or success in life. By in doing so, you lost contact of what actually makes you unique and special. So if you've been struggling with this, trying to find your authentic self, trying to discover who you actually are, deeper, like who are you really? If you've lost touch with even what makes you unique, your special talents, your special gifts, this is a brilliant, brilliant way to actually get started. So check out the Soul Element, mini Soul Element reading down below. I'm going to leave the link to that. If you want to book a discovery call, maybe you want to just ask any questions before you dive deep into that, you can also do that or connect with me on Facebook or Instagram if you have more questions. And that's a more comfortable way of you approaching me. Okay. They also have so many offers with the Soul Element. So if you do book the mini Soul Element reading, I will give you a special discounted link if at all you opt to actually go for our full reading. So if you're curious about this and you just want to have a little taste before you make the commitment to book a full session with me, you can get started with the mini Soul Element reading. Okay, so I'm here to just help you. And also with the full reading, what you get to just together with actually discovering who you actually are at soul level and discovering your soul level gifts, what you'll actually get with the full soul realignment reading is that you are going to get to discover your soul story. So remember that you as a soul, you've lived for so many lifetimes, right? And all those lifetimes, you probably been making so many choices that went against who you are. And by doing that over and over again, you actually created certain blocks within your blueprint, blocking you from now even being able to connect with your true self, with your hidden gifts, with your talents, and all of that. So remember, if you've been going against who you are, the only thing is that you're blocking access to who and the light and the power or the gifts that actually make you more of who you are and allow you to operate in this world in an easy, I'm not saying an easy kind of state, okay? So what happens is that the minute we lose a sense of who we are, it normally expresses itself in the form of dysfunction in our life. So you'll always find that either your health, your relationships, your finances, something is just never going to be working out right if you're living from a dysfunctional kind of state. So if you want to know what kind of choices that your soul made in the past that you're still repeating right now, if you kind of also have this sense that probably your life is operating kind of like a broken record. You keep on attracting the same kind of circumstances, the same type of people, the same kind of experiences over and over again. And you're sitting down and wondering, like, why on earth has life been happening to me like this? Why do I keep on facing betrayal from the people that I love? Why do I constantly have to be traumatized with the people that I discover over and over again? And regardless of how much I try to run away from this, I still keep attracting the same kind of experiences. There's a reason for that. Remember that if your choices that you made in a past life were inputted in your blueprint and you keep on facing the same experiences and making the same kind of mistakes in an attempt to help you resolve out of this negative karma, your soul will keep on attracting the same kind of people, the same kind of experiences to probably help you make different choices in the long run. But what happens is that most people have zero awareness of what those mistakes are that they keep on repeating, that they're still repeating up to now, which is causing all this dysfunction in their life. So if you want to know what those mistakes are that you're currently repeating right now and causing all of these people, all of these circumstances to keep on repeating themselves in your life, and maybe you're just tired of feeling like you're stuck in one position and no matter what you do, you can't seem to get ahead, you can check out the soul element reading. It can help you that help connect you to that particular soul story that you started probably a couple of lifetimes ago that you're still repeating right now. And the best thing with the full element reading is that you actually get to heal all of this energetically. So release all these karmic experiences from your blueprint so that going forward, you no longer are match, an energetic match to these experiences and these people that have been keeping you stuck for such a long time. So if you're ready to say yes to this, you can check out the full solar element reading down below and book a session with me. And you never know. If you're not, maybe you're just like, oh, do I do this? Do I not do this? You can go ahead and book our mini soul alignment to just get a bit of taste of that. Okay, so to take advantage of the offer, because I don't know how long I'm going to be running this. So if you're watching this right now, make sure you go ahead and book the reading with me before either the prices go up or I just stop offering it as a product for myself, for my services. Okay. Okay, so the second modality I do work with is quantum flow, and quantum flow is all about rewiring your nervous system. So remember that thing I was telling you about, like you constantly feel like it's such a struggle to try and build new habits. The reason behind that is yes, you can set your thing like try to have the most amazing kind of mindset, but if you're also not working with your body to help you embody that, it's always gonna feel like a struggle. It's always feel like you're fighting against yourself. That's not easy. Remember that everything that you've gone through in your mind or in your life, it's not only recorded in your mind, it's also recorded within your body. So your body remembers. So you can do whatever you want to do, and listen to meditations and do whatever it is, go through hypnosis in your mind and try to rewire those patterns and beliefs from your mind. But if you're also not doing it from a body kind of perspective, you're going to encounter those patterns and triggers again and again. And this is what quantum flow steps in. So it helps you to rewire not only your body from, not only yourself from a physical point of view, but it targets different areas of your life. So your physical, your emotional, your mental well-being, right? So it's helping rewire different aspects of your life. And this is why it's such a powerful modality. And the best thing about quantum flow is that because it's working on all these areas of your life, it actually helps you accelerate the release of all these patterns, all these triggers that have been keeping you stuck. So now all of a sudden, those things that, the meditations that probably has taken you so many months or so many years to get any kind of progress, you find that if you're doing it now with the quantum flow, which actually uses breathwork and movement to help rewire your nervous system in your body, really, you'll find that it will accelerate you getting to the outcome that you actually want to achieve. Because it's targeting both your mind and your body in this process. Okay. If you're curious about this, you can actually check out the quantum flow meditation just to help you have a bit of a taste of what it is. Maybe you're curious and you're like, is this for me or not? You can check out the free meditation I have for you that will just help you have a bit of experience of that. But remember, it's just a small taste. Quantum flow is so much bigger than the meditation. So if you're probably feeling like in a place where you've been trying so many modalities, so many things, but you're still not getting the results that you want, you're still finding yourself falling into old patterns, there is a reason behind that. You gotta remove the memory of that from your body. Really break down those patterns within your body so that now you're no longer fighting against the self, but working hand in hand together with your soul, your physical, your mental, emotional well-being to really help you become this best version of yourself that you want to become. Okay. So if you want to make that process easier for you, you can actually go ahead and book a quantum flow session with me. One session is not enough. So remember that you've taken so many years to actually build this habit. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that one session is enough. It's a commitment you have to make. You got to make quantum flow a lifestyle if you really want to experience the benefits of this powerful method in your life. It's something that I've done for so many I want to say years because I actually discovered quantum flow back in 2020. So you can imagine that period of time. And I'm still waking up new patterns of myself, still releasing so many things that I didn't even know I had. Okay, this is where quantum flow comes in. So it's become my lifestyle. And the more and more I do it, the more and more I'm awakening this version of me. 3 years ago, I kid you not, this is not something I ever even pictured myself doing, like going live, even having a YouTube channel. I had zero confidence, zero self-esteem, zero, you name it, right? But I've actually, because I've been rewiring my mind and really coming back to my natural state, with this powerful methodology, it's made it easier for me to actually tap into my gift, which is what I'm doing live here right now. So if you want to experience this magic in your life, you can go ahead and book a quantum flow session with me. You can do a one-off session, which in itself is more powerful. It's still powerful, but I would recommend doing more than one session so that you can actually incorporate that into your daily habits. Okay. And maybe if you have more questions on this again, you can go ahead and book a discovery call with me and ask any questions you have of me, or you can go ahead and um, connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and maybe ask whatever questions you have for me. And hopefully, I will get to see you on the other end one of these fine days. So thank you so much for tuning in. Sending you so much love, and I hope I will see you on the next video I put out. For now, wishing you an amazing